I was in social media one of the most trending topics. Enra asema isi Manhyia. After say UK soldiers omo Kenchas esmo mba Ghana no. Omo ba Otumfuo na yase. Ebechia no ene ni bedi enkomo bi. Social media fa bia no. Eno na trend. Na in this video metime go ase. Na madwudwa mama no atro de ntia omba Ghana ha. Omba ba ye den na identity call mko Otumfuo na yase. Aha ye Penyah block media. Mesro ase ani demo. Obe like video that wa subscribe button and somebody click the notification icon of latest update. Na ba chere wa adwen dia mama e wo comment da shimeta so ba so. Na shi video mo for so enya bi ahwe. Eti Ghana no ye ne western countries no ye yonkofa no ye shemu kenapa e campaign the friendship between Ghana and the westerners no e good. Ni nyina ye opem so na say to the second. King Solomon asaso nya mekase ono e de shemu kena. Ono no ntia ne America for ye ka papa yani UK ekapa chese wo obo ya ye ne afofra yonkofa no ye hyemu kana fa Ghana ye trade ye ne amanfo ye to nchen ye kan yonkofa emapa enipa obo ma Ghana yonkofa any other countries no edi mu ntintima Otumfuo if says mahama kro okope bosiam le bia okoya ya wanfo Otumfuo anko bi ya ma no ye pamo no ono ade be kan ye beto no mutu so okoya okope bosiam Otumfuo anko bi ne ye pamo nti chese Ghana young fan any other countries no Otumfuo and you know ordinary fifi edmaye why entembina for edmaye now him say e wo mu a westerners no almost etu nipa eba you know abibre man mu emo be ye o take survey any ade until last week no nyina ade na UK asrafo Kenchas a England Kenchas asoma na asrafo aba Africa a o be take survey o be hwe ye secret nsensem no other say be ehia moa ne ade mo be betumi aboa in terms of security and defense omo etu asrafo eba Africa ebe survey na ombe aye no omo din kan beduru Ghana ha edo beduru Ghana ha for 7 days ewo Ghana yes say ye nyina enim kra say UK kra soldiers ewo Ghana ha say for like a week na UK soldiers ewo Ghana ha say omo eteki omo survey eye ne manima et enra ana is omo week no medin Ghana no aso na e was almost akobak na ombe no say there be old mama mara yensa mamle say even Kenchas na nkasa musini na nkasa kra otu na se free England eba Otumfuo na ya se eba bechia no e say na ya na srafo ya ba Ghana de a na hu be hia say ene yeso betu ya se free Accra akokumase akona na ya se opem so asaso nya mekase be kodo na ya se akokochia no eti enra na Kenchas asrafo yi omukopie mu ewo Manhyia
yebegyinam
atwe yewura
yetwe yewura
anyewa bi se na mo ya na sebi mo ya hinu
eno enam se usukura ne yeye o se yegyina tenten be do hwebie no yewura huhu nti untime ntrase ye twen se
wagina for 2 good hours
aborokura bi de ebo me de ebo na me hu se begyina ho ebom ya de ebom ya de kura be fa no mabre be bread ya na ide be see ebom ya de kura na me man uni nika so a untimi go free bet
only ni garden go free bet na so wagina for 2 good hours yewura complaint yesuma santimai
ebe ko so aso fisa asante ya asante ayo my na de meka say ni gisem say yewura onwena sandema anko
I say mo ko no Otumfuo nya ntena ze ntena mu din kan kra ekoye to ko hwehwe ho no mo kakra say oh Otumfuo abobra ye mo ensema ala say Otumfuo abobra no so na ya de e asrafo yi e boy ensem e ma opem so na etena se no na asrafo edu ma no nsem etudwa die ntia omoba na eneas enra e wokumase.
It's a real privilege as a defence advisor to Ghana, Togo, Benin, Côte d'Ivoire and and Burkina Faso to be here on behalf of the British High Commission in Kumasi and at the Royal Palace. I bring with me today a cohort from the Advanced Command and Staff College, Course 28. They have been visiting Ghana to find out where Ghana sits and the importance in the region for Ghana and why it's so important to the United Kingdom. We've had a look at and been privileged to meet ministers. We've met the chiefs of all the 3 services, and we've met the Defence Committee, and we've now had the opportunity to come to Kumasi to meet the General Officer Commanding, General Opuku, and have a cultural visit to learn more about the history of the region. We humbly request that Your Majesty is able to give a few words to the students and advice for us as British, and we will listen upon his words and take heed. Thank you very much. And before I respectfully ask for His Majesty to speak, I request that Captain Charlotte Ayem, the lead of the delegation, is able to present a gift to His Majesty.
It's a great honour for us to be here and to receive an audience with yourself. I here represent the Advanced Command and Staff course from the UK Defence Academy, and we have had the privilege of spending a week in Ghana learning so much about the people, the wonderful culture. We have been struck continuously by the generosity and the friendships that we have made this week. We will leave tonight back to the UK, and we also have 13 other nations represented with us on our course. We have great knowledge now of your nation. We have wonderful friendships and memories that we will take back to our nations and that will last us a lifetime. Thank you.
I welcome you to Kumasi on this visit. It gladdens my heart to see you here in the palace. Sure. And I'm sure they must have taken you to the museum and other places in Kumasi to see where we are. Sure. Looking at you is just like looking at my army officers who are here. Sure. General over the general officer commandant and his people are similarly looking the same, doing the same things as you do, looking after us, protecting the country, and then to make sure that there's peace within our borders and everything. Sure. We on our part are also making sure that our people live in peace, and therefore trying to make sure that peace evolves everywhere in the part of Ghana. Sure. You know, Ghana is democratically elected, we elect our leaders and everything, but we need peace to develop. So my duty, together with the traditional authorities, to make sure that there's peace everywhere. And therefore we make sure that we adjudicate over issues when there are conflicts in communities and everywhere, so that the government would also can have peace to do its developmental work. So that's exactly what we also try to do. We support the government of the day to make sure that, like a development catalyst, so that we make sure that our people have development and then have peace in relation to education, in relation to health. We do as much as possible to complement what the government does. But Ghana is a peaceful country. Democratically electing our presidents, elections come and go, but fortunately we've been able to sail through all these issues, because if there are any issues, there are elders like us who would also be able to complement it by talking to the politicians to calm down. Fortunately, when we speak to them, they listen, and therefore we've been able to move through as it is done. A true example is what happened in December last, where we had elections and proper handing over and everything. So, in a nutshell, we live in a peaceful country where the rule of law, constitutionality, the rule of law is most important to everybody. Human rights are also very much respected and everything. We are here, the west coast of Africa, and then in the Sahelian. That is where our concerns were, but I believe our soldiers here have been doing the best to maintain our borders and security for us. Recently, there has been some communal skirmishes in the upper top of the range of Ghana, where closer to Burkina Faso. But we are doing every effort to make sure that we have peace in that area. So we didn't allow for the penetration of terrorism and everything to come in. So fortunately in Ghana, I can assure you that we've been blessed with humility, understanding each one is her brother's keeper, and therefore we move on. Tribal wars are not here because we all live. Religious wars are not here because if you're a Christian, if you're a Muslim, if you're a traditionalist, you are respected. Everybody accepts that, and we live in harmony and everything. So that is exactly what we are doing. I have confidence in the armed forces; they are doing very well, but they need support also, equipment and funding and everything. Funding alone cannot. When they have to go, when we call them up, for example, some of the equipment that they need. I know Britain is also going through some tighter moments, but you do better than us. So we need the support. The training and everything is one, but the equipment are also some of the things that we require to support them in their training and everything. So we thank you, and I believe strongly that during your tour of Ghana, you've seen so much, you've been told so much, you've gotten to know the history and everything. So we thank you for coming. And you're always welcome to come to Kumasi anytime that you want. Thank you very much for this afternoon.
That's it. To me, Nana, I train Komo, kama, Emma, Nana, so, Eda, Omasi, Emma, Oma, Kwaba. The fair, Nana, don't cast a query, no. And then, yeah, I said for Penyah Udu Manumkan. Esra and I said, oh, Nana, yes, no, don't come here. Your best don't need the Masenka, my quite, Nayan Chow, Nana's, oh, a quanda, and you woman, Nano. As at Omo Chachia, Nana.
Thank you very much for this afternoon.
Steve, thank you so much for those words and for which we can reflect on as they travel back on the skies tonight on their way back to their countries. I respectfully ask that each individual has the opportunity to shake your hand and greet you, sir, and have a photograph. Thank you very much, sir.
there was a way anora at the fefa esi kumase I say at social media bia fe bia no eno na e trend there. Chira wadwe mame e wo comment section. Aha Penyah Blog Media.